Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogi Monster here, and welcome to Why the Fascination, or WTF as we like to call it. Hope everybody's doing well. It's good to see everybody in chat already. Mr. Lee, what's up, bud? Good to see you. Hey, Sharon Guy. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Stevie. Catherine Lundquist. How are you? Danny Staten. What's up, bud? Grasshopper. Put some clothes on. Chuck Gonzalez, how's it going? Miss Piper. How are you, Sandra? Who else? By the time I get to the bottom, there's going to be somebody else there. Michael Haywood. What's up, brother? Aida Bustamante. How are you? G'day, Mark. Tight lines. Grass says, I ain't pretty, but I ain't on camera. What else is going on? So, yeah, I think I got everybody for the moment. Glad to see everybody. Welcome. Wow, that's annoying. Sure is. Let's turn that shit down now. It's like I got to put my code in my phone everything. All right. Hopefully that'll do it. So yeah, guys, welcome. If you're new, welcome. If you don't know what the hell's going on here, it makes everybody else fit right in. No, all we do is we hang out. We talk about basically anything you want to talk about. And what I do is I put the link in chat so you can come on and join us on the show. And, I want to get to meet more people. Hey, Brandy, welcome. Judy Wheeler. Long Island Bigfoot. What's up, Mike? Yeah, I want to get to know you guys. So my theory is y'all have a story to tell. Yeah, dude. I always end up putting on the sunscreen a little too late. And I've been down at the Marina like every day and doing some boat work and stuff for helping somebody out. And, I just don't think about it because I get there in the morning. It's nice out. It's not bad. And then I turn around, it's 3:00 and it's like, fuck. So yeah, I need some, I have 50 SPF. I just got to use it. I probably have like 4 different brands and shit. So, so what I was saying is I put the link in chat and you guys can click on that link and come on, join me. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. You're having a bad day. That's what I'm here for. I think, hey, Breeze. Good to see you. Bigfoot Atheist Inquiry. What's up, Joe? I'm tired of telling my story, so I'll just listen. No, but there are people here I know that haven't told their story, that have a story. Everybody has a story. It doesn't necessarily have to be, Bigfoot. Could be supernatural, could be whatever. I just think everybody's here for a reason. My experiences are paranormal, but here I am. I'm fascinated with this whole, Bigfoot subject. And it's fun to talk to people, in person. Like I talk to people all the time. I'm handing out business cards, and a lot of people are like, yeah, no, I believe they could exist. Blah blah blah. I'm healthy skeptic, or open-minded skeptic. I hear it all the time. Open-minded skeptic. And it's cool. I I pulled up to a lady in a Jeep the other day, and she had a big old, it was a little American flag with the Sasquatch in it, and her windows were down. So I pulled up next to her. I was like, "Hey, I like your Sasquatch," and she's like, "Oh," she was all like happy about it. It was cool. That's funny. Mark says, what did he say? Paranormal Bigfoot. I'm here for the fishing blog. But that's just it. We'll talk about anything. We'll talk about fishing. We'll talk about, maybe sometimes we go overboard with fishing, but hey, how many Bigfoot stories have you heard where someone's fishing? Bigfoot Michigan Rob, he was fishing. He was in the boat with his girlfriend, and when they had their encounter, there's so many fishing stories. Supposedly my buddy, my ex-roommate, my buddy back in Arizona, he was fishing. He had his encounter in Arizona. Doesn't mean much. Yeah, but you don't. I mean, shit. I went to the Bigfoot convention. They were fucking everywhere. You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a car with a Bigfoot sticker on it, mine included. But mine's kind of indiscreet. It's straight in the back window. I'll take a picture of it one day. But it's funny because the last 3 times I approached somebody about their sticker on their car, it's always from the last owner. Oh, that was there when we bought it. Oh, that's a work truck. Yeah, we just bought that work truck. It's used, but that came with it. 3 times in a row that I asked. The only 3 times I ever approached anybody about it. And sure as shit, they're like, oh, but finally, the Jeep I pulled up next to, she was all excited. She owned that shit. Hey, Val, good to see you. Angel Nolan. Trackway, what's up? Hi, Eyes. Eyes in the Woods. Yeah, somehow Trackway got blocked a couple shows ago. No regulars here should be blocked, Mr. Fritz, how's it going, Jay? How you feeling? Hope everything's going well. It's good to see you in chat. Bigfoot and the Van Gogh, right on. I have the Van Gogh Starry Night with Godzilla. Except that shirt's too small now. Who else? But yeah, as I was saying, because I go on these little tangents, or little side notes, or I get lost. Yeah, we'll talk about anything, and we have. What haven't we talked about? Jeez. But that's what I love about this. You never know what you're going to talk about, who's going to pop on. Speaking of popping on, the link is in chat. So anybody want to pop on, say hi, say what's up, click on that link, come and join me. Flyby Stew, what's happening? Yeah, because I really want to start getting out more. You know, there's all these trees behind me, all this forest behind me, and I'm at the marina trying to catch fish. But it is cool. Kayaking through some of this stuff is really wild. And you can be quiet doing it. You know, that's what's crazy is you just get a good drift going, and what you got to do is steer a little bit. And you're just, you know, you see deer, you see pigs, you see whatever, because they don't hear you coming. What else is in here? It's funny, all the emojis that people put up, I see them in chat as words, not emojis. You see trail to Bigfoot, possible Sasquatch caught on video? No, haven't. Is that a new something new Chris put out? I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I got a bad taste in my mouth about that channel for someone that used to be on the channel. That whole dude that went on Carrie's show and kind of had that crazy story to tell about dogmen and shit. Yeah, well, that he used to be with that channel. But then I met Chris at the conference and his wife, and they were cool. You know, I really didn't know him. I passed judgment on the channel because of the one guy that's no longer with them. So Stevie went camping Sunday night. Was it Sunday? Yeah, it was just one night. She camped out. And she has my Tascam with her. It's an audio recorder. And it's got, you know, like the different mic, the two adjustable mics, directional mics on it. And she figured out how to use it, which I'm thrilled, you know. So she was camping and she kept, I told her, I said, you know, keep the recorder by you or let it run or whatever. And she heard something going around the tent. And so she turned on the recorder, which was next to her. And I guess where she was laying, she picked her head up and she could see just, you know, underneath the flap or the window or whatever. But she saw a coyote outside the window. And but she recorded it. She said she recorded it sniffing around the head. She's like, it's so crystal clear. I said, well, it's a good recorder. But I'm looking forward to hearing it, you know. It looks like Wile E. Coyote. And somebody just said, coyote shouldn't be sniffing around your head. But yeah, she said when she saw it, she yelled at it. And on the recording, it's kind of loud on the recording, she said. But yeah, I'd yell at it too. It was sniffing under the breeze flap through the screen. Okay. Good advice, Trackway. Trackway says, remember, everyone, bacon has many uses, but never use bacon as soap in the wild, no matter what the lard content. No, it's not. It's not advised. Sleeping with bacon under your pillow isn't advised. Stevie said it kept prancing around the tent for the next half hour or so. Oh, you must have had something that smelled good in there. Pouncing, prancing. Which one sounds better? Pouncing? No, prancing sounds better. Sounds happier. What's going on, Judy? Brandy says I would have barked at it most likely. Just I'm glad you recorded the audio. I definitely want to hear that. She says, Stevie says, I didn't have any food. There's bears out there. That's where, Moog's got bluff chart. Oh, that's right. That's the same park. Yeah, the same park where I filmed and we swam the springs over there. That's where I got bluff charged, and just up the road in the same park is the campground, and that's where she camped. Hey, Susie, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, Trackway says, we went camping after the conference Saturday and we woke up to a deluge. Yeah, the first when I went on that outing with Joe Pass and Manimal Research and Old Bears Den of Bigfoot up in Tennessee. Yeah, that last night, holy shit. It rained and rained and rained. I mean, luckily, I mean, still got wet, but like Joe's tent, Squatching Cowboys, that where they were camped, that was under probably 2-3 inches of water. Johnny Half, what's up, buddy? He's on his way home. Be safe, man. Put the phone down. Mr. Lee says, I have recorded what I can only describe as samurai chatter. Just saying. Well, you know what to do with it, Mr. Lee. Put it in one of your movies and let's hear this. What's up, Rich? It's funny as I'm talking, but he can hear me, I'm sure. He's just in the other room. So yeah, guys, the link is in chat. Here you go. Click on that link if you want to come hang out, talk, bullshit, whatever. About 20 minutes. What were you talking about me again? No. We wouldn't do that, Richie. What else? Oh, damn it! You're. That's my bad. Here, let me put this one up. We get bad at that shit. All right, this link is the latest link coming up right now. The next link is the good link. Sorry about that, guys. You're probably backstage somewhere going, fucker did it again. I apologize for that. Here we go. What's up, Papa? How you doing?
Hello.
How you been?
I've been okay.
Right on.
Doing pretty good, really. Better and
How's
better and
Nana?
better. Nana's doing better and better and better.
Awesome.
She's awful ornery, though.
It's her prerogative.
It is. It's just nice to watch her come back to life. But,
Hold on. Stevie, is there an echo? Is that what you're implying? I don't hear an echo.
There was till I clicked off StreamYard, or no, whatever, YouTube. So
She says, hello, is anybody out there? There. I didn't hear it.
Hi, Stevie. So, what the heck you been doing, Moggs?
Not too much. Nah, I've been hanging out down the street, trying to get my foot in the door down at the Marina. So just helping out. If, I kind of there's a guy I made friends with. He runs the little boat club down there. They only have 3 boats, but he's cool, and I helped him with his one of the live well pumps wasn't working, and his the pump for the hose, so you have a water hose, that wasn't working either. One of them works, but it's got to be a switch problem or a wire or something. We just haven't tracked it down. But so I've just been putzing around like that. Tomorrow I'm going to go help the guy. He had a tree fall recently in his yard, so he's got to get rid of it. And his back isn't the greatest, so I was like, yeah, man, I'll come over. So
Cool.
yeah.
I forgot all about that, Muggs. I used to play with hoses and pumps endlessly. Hoses, pumps, and pipes. Those dang fishing boats it's unbelievable the fluids they got pumping around in them.
Yeah. And all the different intakes and drains. And I mean, some of these boats, the friggin', well, the cup holders have drains that come out the side. It's a true story.
I needed one of them in my cup. I don't know how much salty herring flavored water or coffee I drank in the years of fishing.
All right, I want to see what Judy had to say. Mogs, everybody, we've captured live on camera in our trees. One portion got our attention, and we're astonished as to what we captured. What'd you capture, Judy?
Get on here and tell us.
Casey Hale, how are you? All right, let's see.
Stevie B, that is a fishing pole behind me. It is a sturgeon pole or a halibut pole, or I suppose you could go catch marlin with it.
It's a boat pole.
Yeah, well, it's set up for sturgeon right now.
Nice.
But what Nana and I are going to have to do this year is go down to that Columbia and learn how to catch them big fat walleye they got down there.
Oh, do they have good walleye?
It's probably some of the best walleye fishing in the world, and it's all secret. I mean,
Really?
they catch 10, 15 pounders all the time. They'll catch whole creels,
No shit.
whole stringers of them that big.
Walleye's great eating and fun to catch.
Yeah, yeah. I've got some ideas. There's some benches, drop offs, and stuff out there where I see people
I know a
fishing.
good walleye rig if you need a a recommended rig for walleye.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue what to use on them.
Yeah, we were using Lindy rigs and with minnows and we actually put a float next to the hook. It's about the size of maybe 3 times the size of a tic tac. Kind of looks like a tic tac, but it's styrofoam little float, and it just
Uh huh.
keeps that off the ground with a sliding sinker, and we'd always put a leader on and whatnot. But yeah, it's a good rig. Or jig heads with minnows, or swim baits. But we had fun catching them in Wisconsin.
Huh. So anybody want to hear any Bigfoot stories?
Absolutely. You know,
Okay. So things that I don't think I've ever told people before is a lot of the times when I was running around in the woods trying to learn how to be a survivor man. Um, a lot of strange things happened, and I never had a clue what they were until Nana saw one looking in the window in 2018, and sometime after that I started looking online for what the heck is what's Bigfoot about, what it's like, what's it look like, with blah blah blah. And as we were watching different shows, like she watched every episode of Finding Bigfoot, I don't know how many times. And finally, I got sick of seeing people running around in black and white in the dark with stupid lighting, and I just said, Nana, they're never, ever going to find Bigfoot doing what they're doing with all those people out there. It just ain't going to happen.
sure.
And but a lot of times, they would tell those stories. They would talk to a witness, and I mean, even watching Survivor Man with Todd Standing, I didn't know they made tree knock noises. Not till Finding Bigfoot, I went, really? I have heard so much of that. I wonder. So one of the big kind of things that happened that I didn't see anything was when I got out of the army. I got mad at the whole world and decided to run away and hide in the woods and eat worms and cry and moan. And
Get it out of your system.
yeah, so I did, and I was walking up. I walked down into the Minam River Canyon. It's just like 8 miles of hiking down, down, down. And then I started hiking up the canyon and on the trail, and then I went over to the river and started walking up the river and fishing, and I came upon one of those big 50-foot teepees like Duke's got in Montana. It was old, but I could not figure out how in the world 10 guys lifted each one of those poles into place on the teepee. They might have had some system of pulleys and ropes and stuff, but I just couldn't figure out how they made it. But it might have been made by the Paiutes or the Nez Perce many, many, many years ago to put a hunting camp in.
Maybe, but
Uh,
I don't know if it would survive that long, would it?
I don't think so. I don't. But then I thought, man,
Doubt it.
how would they ever have a big enough hunting camp to set that up? So, I walked away from that scratching my head, and I got up the river about a mile further, and there was another one. the second one wasn't in any kind of place where you would want to build a camp or anything, and in neither one of them was there a campfire anywhere around or anything. So I just scratching my head, and I got up the river farther, and this may have been a different day. This is 1973, so how in the world do I remember which day was which? But
Right.
anyway, in about the same time, I got further up the river, and I made my little camp, and long before this, I had learned to break my firewood by whacking it on a tree, right?
Sure.
I'd never heard anything about Bigfoot's knocking, so I didn't think anything of what I was doing. So I just broke up a bunch of firewood, and I was pretty tickled with myself, because if you whack it down just right and that same speed every time, those little sticks will, land on the ground right beside each other in a little pile. And so I got most of them there, and carried my pile, made my fire, cooking dinner, whatever, and I heard somebody else whacking a branch on a tree, and they were hitting it really hard, and it wasn't breaking. So I thought stuff like that, that boom, boom, boom. It's farther spread out than that, and I just remember saying to myself or to the air or whatever, buddy, why in the heck you got to camp right by me?
And that's what he was saying to you.
Right. What the heck is why has this guy got to camp really close to me? And by the way, pal, if you don't get a punkier branch, you're never going to break that one. That one was going off like a Louisville Slugger, not no crack, no. I says, yeah, either hit that a lot harder or get a punkier branch. And so, I don't know, it was about 4 or 5 whacks, and it stopped, and I ate my dinner, and then, yeah, Michael, you might have an eruption. Anyway, I headed out there to go see who the heck was camped over there, and I never found anybody, and just kind of weirded me out. A little further up the river, going fishing one morning, this one's hard to tell because nobody will ever believe it, ever. I'm walking alongside the trail, and I'm practicing not leaving a mark on the ground, right? You can practice that for years and years and years. And so I'm walking alongside the trail, walking on the rocks, stepping on the big rocks. And as I got to the, it's a little swampy area where a creek comes down and runs into the flat to the river, makes a little swamp. And as the trail got really muddy, here was this gigantic footprint. And I mean really gigantic. And I thought, that can't be a footprint. It's damn near 3 feet long.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm down there on my, face 6 inches away trying to see. I figured, okay, the curve of the toes could be the back end curve of one side of an elk track, right? Or two tracks. What I was trying to see was like 2 tracks coming over each other and making that toe like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then different size toes. And it didn't work out. It just...
How wide was it?
Oh, gosh. That wide? Where is that dang camera? About that wide. So damn. What's that? 15 inches? And...
Yeah, if it was 35, 36 inches, yeah, that's about...
Yeah, it was at least 32, yeah. And I was thinking closer... All my life I've thought closer to 3 feet than 2, and I just don't tell anybody about that because it's stupid. But there was a perfect footprint. You could have casted it. And I must have spent 20 minutes crawling around on the ground trying to, well, it was a while crawling around on the ground trying to figure out how an elk and a bear, several elk, several bears stepped on that thing.
Herd of
A bunch,
elephant, you know.
and patted all that down because there can't be anything that makes that as a footprint. It can't be. And then I went, oh, if it's a real footprint, there'll be one back there. So I went back, and when I got about 10 or 12 feet back, there was another footprint. It was really faint, and then I went back another 10 or 12 feet, and then there was a partial real faint footprint. Left foot, right foot, left foot. And
You'd be talking something 15, 16 feet tall.
yeah. Well, then, as Pierce say, we got mountain giants around here. We do have 9-foot Bigfoot. I saw that before. But at the time, yeah. I had no idea. I just, this smoke started coming out of my ears trying to figure that out. And
almost started a forest fire.
yeah. And then another time in that same area, I had built my little fire, was cooking up some fish or grouse. I have no idea what I was cooking, but I was just sitting there alone. And I think I went to bed and laid down, and I heard talking. But it was weird talking. I couldn't understand. It was, no. And I'm going, these guys are drunk. And, and I think they're from Japan, and they don't speak English. But there was enough melodrama in the voices and stuff, that
you could tell it was a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. And a drunk one at that, because there would be loud noises, and it sounded a heck of a lot like some of the Sierra sounds too.
Okay.
So that was going on, and it was another one of those, why in the heck do people got to camp by me here? I went to a lot of trouble to hide over here on the other side of the river, and what the heck are they doing? So that, it went on periodically, and then some point in the night, there was I could hear in the voices, there was a big male voice, a whiny female voice, kids' voices, and another male, younger male or something. That's what it sounded like, that there was 4 or 5 people over there. But weird. I could not understand a word. And then in the middle of the night, something or other, I heard, whack! And then a baby started crying. So, man, I went, I cannot abide this. I was going to get out. I was getting out my little .22 survival rifle and putting it together.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over there and tell them guys what for. You do not hit kids. And then it kind of, prudence got the best of me there. I went, oh, well, this might work out really ugly. Somebody might get killed.
Maybe I'll just mind my own business.
Yeah, these guys are drunk. They're definitely another culture, and walking up on them with a gun in the middle of the night might not work out well.
Probably not.
So I bagged it, but they woke me up several times in the middle of the night, and I just went, well, the only thing, I know what really pissed me off. They were camped by my fishing hole. So I got up in the morning and crack a light and headed over that way. I was at least going to beat them to the dang fishing hole. Because usually in a river like ours up here in the Rockies and stuff, if you got a good fishing hole, it's good for about 2 fish, and then they quit biting. And you got to walk up the river and find another hole.
Trick those. They learn quick.
They do. So I was going to beat him to the hole, and I went up there to where all the noises would come from, and there was not a mark anywhere. I don't remember whether I really looked on the ground to see if there was a footprint. What I was looking for was signs of a camp, so there'd be lots of grass tramped down and stuff. I couldn't find anything like that, and nobody was there to boot. So that was a really weird night too. After that, I just packed up and stayed the hell out of that place when I was alone. I went up to a lake to go fish and just got the heck out of that canyon. And nothing ever happened. But boy, when I first heard them Sierra sounds, I jumped. I went, "Oh my gosh! I wonder what the heck that was."
Trackway says, "What I heard was a deep guttural voice, and much higher voices
much higher voices,
much higher voices having an argument. Whatever it was shaking an oak like a toothpick."
Holy cow! Yeah, I'd never heard anything like that before, and it not finding anything there was freaking me out.
I go back to like camping up in Arizona or hunting with my dad up there, and I've heard what I thought was someone chopping wood, and that's what I wrote it off as at the time, and that's all I can. I'm not going to go back on it and say, "Oh, maybe it was this," because I have no idea. But yeah, there were times where I remember hearing people chopping wood, and I was like,
right, you hear that whack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of times. I just write it off like he did, well, elk hit his antler on a tree or kicked a log or...
Well, no, where we would hunt, people would get permits for harvesting deadfall and, for firewood. So it wasn't uncommon to every so often hear a chainsaw somewhere, or, I just figured someone was getting firewood. I don't know. Don't know what it was.
Right, like me. I thought there was a guy over there camping, breaking firewood. And I, in years after that, I would take people out there. Some of my friends and I would go out there. This one guy and I were, same thing happened. We broke some firewood up and started to cook dinner, and there's a knocking, 100 yards up the way. And he low crawled. He was a Paiute Indian, and he low crawled his way over there. Never found a thing. And so that's the only time I've ever counted him was when I was breaking firewood and I heard the knocks. You hear knocks in the woods all the time for all kinds of reasons, and usually it's somebody chopping firewood, like you said. If it seems rhythmical, and it's definitely being done by somebody.
Michael says, "I used to arm wrestle my grandmother for Jolly Ranchers."
So how many Jolly Ranchers did you have to give her, Michael?
Whole bag, right? Probably still in debt.
I never won, so I had to buy my own. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know how them grandmas are. I had a grandma like that too. But yeah, that was another one.
Stevie said, "Trackway, I hiked with my girls late 90s, heard 3 to 4 guys hiking the whole day behind us, speaking Japanese or something. Never saw anyone."
Yeah, that kind of stuff, Stevie. That kind of stuff. Because, yeah, in the later years here, I've been out mushrooming and heard those voices like that, and I figured they were Cambodians. And I'd race up there and never find anybody. But But there's that one big deep voice that I hear around here fairly often, every couple of years or so. And it's just something like,
Hmm.
And so what else? Oh, that there's a scream that I hear that I'm pretty sure is Bigfoot. It's three tones. It's a real high whistle combined with a raspy scream and a raspy howl, or not so raspy howl. Anyway, the three of them together, and it makes your ears itch, right?
Really?
So I would be camping in some of these high meadows near the tops of the ridges, and before I went to sleep, I would play my harmonica and serenade the whole hillside. I was a very good harmonica player, smooth, mellow stuff. I could make a very nice sound. And even my friends wanted to hear it. It was never like, put that harmonica away or we're going to hurt you.
I think it was Bugs Bunny who said music calms the savage beast.
Yeah. So a lot of times, I don't know, 3 or 4 times when I quit playing, I would hear that screaming up on the hill. And I don't know whether it was, thank God you finally shut up, or do it again. But I took it as something like that, And so I was laying there one night with my friend, and I did that, and I heard the screaming, and I go, Kobe says that that's a Sasquatch up there doing that. That Sasquatch makes that sound. And he goes, I don't know, sounds like a banshee to me. I said, oh, that's comforting.
Even better.
Yeah, even better. I feel great.
Trackway said what finally got me into looking into the subject was a series of progressive wood knocks getting closer and louder while pond fishing alone in 2020.
Ooh.
So you're new to the subject, so am I. I mean, basically. That's
that's what they sound like.
I wish I could say I'm here because I had experiences with, the subject, but not yet.
Now, another thing that happens, and I didn't figure this out for 20 years, is I go out hunting, and go out. I showed you some pictures of my little trail. I walk out, 5 miles out into the woods, and then I go hunting all day. And sometimes you're messing with an elk right up until dark, so you got to walk back in the dark. And it never really bothered me until talking to all you guys about Bigfoot. Now I'm a little leery out there at night. You guys
got
me all frightened. Anyway, yeah.
I don't go in the woods the same as I did, say, 6 years ago.
No, it's not, is it? Not after you know all this stuff.
Or even think that any of it's possible. It just,
Right.
I approach it differently now.
But when you're walking down the trail, minding your own dang business in the dark, and a tree falls over right above you, you go, oh! and go, once you get your heart rate slowed back down, you move on and go, what the hell,
But I would say the same thing that what happens when, like, I've been close to lightning strikes. First thing out of my mouth is, you miss me. No shit.
Man, yeah, I don't like that hair standing up on your head. You're going like, man, is this me this time? Is this one me? Or is this my tree? Am I cooked? But that's happened to me about 10 times in 20 years.
The lightning or the tree?
The trees coming down. They're right above me, and they come right down, And sometimes I'll be walking along, and I'll hear this little tick, tick, tick noise up the hill, or an occasional rock roll or stick break or grass swishing. And then the tree comes down. And I just thought, well, it's spirits or something, right? It's maybe my dead brother's pushing them over at me. Because it was too damn weird. It was always right above me, but
Yeah.
like,
Well, I have only had that experience down like once, I think, and that was here in Florida when a whole just a tree didn't come down, but this huge limb came off the tree right in front of us, just across the river, and it was like my first thought was, "Here we go," and I looked up, there was nothing there. I'm like, "Fuck," because it was way up the tree, and I don't know.
yeah. Last
I'm
time
ready
that
for it to happen. It's just I think I'm
last
ready
time
for it
that
to happen.
last time that tree coming down stuff happened was we had just set up camp. It was the whole family. My son, his 7 kids, and girlfriend and I set up the motorhome and everything. And right at sunset, Papa decided to go in and lay down, and I could hear this swish, 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 crunch, crunch, and kaboom, and a big old tree fell down right by camp. And I can't remember. I just heard somebody tell that, that something was pushing trees over right at some. It might have been. I saw that on Survivor Man. I went, really? They push trees over too, huh? And I come barreling out of the motorhome. God damn it, Baron! Leave us alone. I got kids here. What the hell you doing? I haven't had one push a tree over since 2019, anyway.
Hmm.
But it's like that though. It'll go, one this year, none for 5 years, 2 or 3 this year, none for a couple of years. So it's not just like every other year one.
Well, that's like me with with the 2 major paranormal experiences that I've had where they kind of tie in. They were 17 years apart. You know,
Yeah.
little odd things in the interim, but nothing like that, like what happened.
Right. And yeah, you just don't add it up, People would ask me, have you ever, if anybody asked me, have you ever seen Bigfoot? Oh, I would say, no, I don't believe in them. They can't be out there. I would have had dinner with one,
But yeah, we go pick mushrooms together.
Yeah.
Did you ever see a Bigfoot trip? Yeah, watch them eat mushrooms.
But yeah, that's just, some of the things is that scream. Oh, I know another one.
Oh, that's right. Stevie just reminded me. She says, Mogs, we heard that tree fall behind us when we were fishing the 6-species fish pond. That's how many how many different species we've caught out of that. But yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Fucking tree right behind us, 40 yards, 30 yards on the other side of my truck. Big tree came down in those woods.
And that's them guys on Sawdust Beast and, Beast TV. They say they get them trees pushed over near them all the time whenever the Sasquatch is around. And
Mark and
yeah,
Larry.
Yeah, Mark and Larry. And when I heard them talking about that, I went, my gosh, every single time it's right above me, real close, maybe the tip land maybe 50 yards away above me, and always at night. So that's rather weird. No wind either.
Yeah, that was like when that limb came down. There was no wind whatsoever. It was just like right in front of us. The first time, the big one I was talking about, that was across the river, and I don't think there was any wind the night that Stevie and I heard that tree. come down, and we've heard limbs come down back there too. So that's a little weird. Stevie
Probably
said
one.
the two times I was screamed at was at least 10 years apart.
So yeah, I got screamed at about every year until 1975 or 6, and I have not. Oh no, I've heard one in 2021, but that was 75 to 2021. I never heard that scream.
It's a long
Did
time.
hear whoops, whoops and knocks and stuff, but I mean we whoop at each other to keep track of each other in the woods.
Oh yeah.
We'll do something like that, or where are you? We'll. So there's that. I suppose the weirdest thing that happened that I never could figure out what was in 2018. I do believe. Yeah. That's when I said, Nana, okay, I believe you. You saw a Bigfoot. And I see those tree breaks like that, with the broken branch. I see them all the time out there. I'll go next time I walk by one, I'll make sure and check it out and see if I can figure out what done it. And I hadn't stepped, but 20 yards off the trail, and here's a tree break about 12 feet up and about the right size and right looks, and I go, nah, that ain't nothing that big gonna break that.
Yeah, but those footprints you talked about, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to see what made that. No, thank you. I don't want that. I wouldn't want that to be my introduction to Bigfoot. Because that ain't a Bigfoot.
Yeah, I wonder if
So
that's.
I've missed a few hellos here. Old Buzzard, how's it going? Hey, Tina G. Welcome. Donald, I don't know. I think I said hello to you earlier. Hey, Ms. Dell. Great to see you. Who am I missing? Yeah, Stevie said there was no wind that day.
No, and that's kind of weird. You hear them coming down a lot when the wind's blowing.
Well, you expect it. And here, like in the backyard here, these palms make a lot of noise.
Do they?
They're just noisy. So the littlest wind, you're hearing shit in the backyard.
Our woods are really silent. They don't make a lot of noise.
No, but then there's the days where there's no wind at all and you still hear some noise back there. That's when I'm like looking over the fence, like
right.
What's that?
Where I'm at, I can almost always blame everything on elk. They make all the weirdest damn kind of noises. They can roar.
Hey, Schlitzy, good to see you.
They can squeak. They can scream.
Hey, Stacy. Stacy Perez, welcome. Great to see you.
But yeah, one day my son called me up at home, and he says, "Dad, get out here and help me with this elk. I hit it good. I know it's going to die. There's blood. He's bleeding like a faucet." And I said, "All right, I'll be right up there." And so Trigger and I loaded up and headed on up into the hills. I brought my shotgun, and Trigger and I hunted grouse the 2 miles or 3 miles out to where he was. And this ridge is kind of a haunted ridge. This is a place where I get a creepy feeling and just leave a lot of times. I mean, creepy enough to just, no, I don't need to be here. I'm out of here. And I never knew what it was. It just felt really wrong to be there, and I went somewhere else. But he says, yeah, I went across the open hillside, halfway down the ridge, and you can't miss a blood trail. Climb up that open hillside, and you'll find the blood trail, and you'll find me and the elk real easy. So Trigger runs across that blood trail and starts ripping down along the hillside after it, and so I follow Trigger over, and we get to the really enchanted, haunted elk bed place, and my son's crawling on the ground looking for a speck of blood or anything, a mark. And he goes, "Look at this, Dad." And there's this great big pile of blood. You could see where the elk's feet had thrashed where it died. This is its deathbed for sure, but there ain't any elk there. And we circled and we circled. Oh, when we got to the elk bed, Trigger quit tracking. He just laid down.
Shut down, huh?
He just shut down and laid down. So I don't know, spooks.
It's funny how dogs do that. You hear that a lot in stories where dogs won't hunt. They won't go have tracking dogs. Will not go into a suspected Bigfoot area.
Yeah. Well, he just laid down, and I couldn't get him to follow that anymore. He walked behind me as we circled and looked and circled and looked and circled and looked, but he was not the same old Trigger that if we kind of lost the trail, he would just barrel out on it, and we'd have that elk found and nothing flat. But not that day, and we never. Man, Dennis got so frustrated. He says, "Well, I don't know what the hell. What happened? The Bigfoot just jump out of a tree and run off with it?" And
well, now that you mention it, there is that possibility.
Yeah, but that was like a subject we had never ever talked about. We never.
And for it to come up like that is pretty interesting.
Yeah, for him to bring it up was what got me. Was like, well, maybe. And then, like the next year, after I was fully in on it, I says, when you thought when you said that, did a Bigfoot jump out of a tree? Do you think that was possible? He goes, "Nah, they ain't that big." I go, "What do you mean?" What do you mean? To
drag off an elk?
Yeah, he goes, "They're just not that big to just pick one up and walk off with it without leaving a mark." And I'm going.
I mean, that's an interesting comment.
Yeah, but I don't know. After seeing that track, he does not believe in him. He thinks both my kids think Nana and I are absolutely nuts.
That's what she said. He's just not that big.
Cheese streak. No peeking.
Too funny. Guys, the link is still in chat if anybody wants to join us.
So, this is for Miss Dill.
Wake up and smell the fish. Right on. Stevie's cracking up.
So that's all of the all of the goofy things that I can think of that I've heard in the woods. Well, it's 50 years.
Sure.
And and I bet in the last 50 years I have spent at least 20 of it out in the woods, full time, total time. So that'd be, 20 years of daytime mostly. Because, I was a logger, survivalist, of course. I don't know how many cords of firewood I've cut. Mushroom picking, I've been out a couple of times now. They're not out yet, but cheese freak. What is
8,
that?
10, 11-foot Sasquatch or Squatch could easily drag off a moose.
Oh, I know.
Tina.
Yeah, Tina, I have to agree with you completely, but my son doesn't. They're not that big. So whatever he knows about them, he doesn't think they're that big. Even though right near there was a tree brick 12 feet up,
What it's interesting is, they don't exist. They're not that big.
Right. And they tell the grandkids, no, there's no such thing as Bigfoot. Papa and Nan are nuts. And, and he said, kids spend almost as much time in the woods as I do. He'd cut firewood and pick mushrooms with me forever. But yeah, that's
I'm just scrolling through chat real quick. Schlitzy says, well, an orangutan is 5 times stronger than a human. A Bigfoot would be much stronger. Yeah, I think a chimpanzee is like 8 times, or it's some, pound for pound. They can kick the shit out of us.
yeah, Schlitzy. I think they're probably supernatural strong. Well, yeah, I mean, look how strong an ant is, or any wild animal. I don't know if you've ever
Exactly.
wrestled a wild animal, but my Paiute friend had a female wolf for a pet. Chinook, yeah. Wonderful, wonderful creature. She bit a porcupine. And 3 of us grabbed her, 2 of us trying to hold her down, and we let him handle the mouth part, and he was trying to pull the quills out with a pair of pliers. And that dang wolf beat us up, all 3 of us. Outpowered us and got away. We had to take her to the vet and have her put to sleep to get the quills
Yeah,
out.
wow.
Could not hold her. I was really, and you'd think of any wild animal like that, like a deer, is incredibly strong. And so,
900 pounds of pure muscle can carry a horse, let alone an elk.
yeah, I
Or
know.
grass. And all descriptions, they're not. Once in a blue moon, you'll hear a story where a friggin' Bigfoot had a potbelly, but they're usually jacked and just huge muscle bound creatures. So yeah, that's the capability of those things is just that it's astounding.
I
Something that
don't
strong.
imagine. I don't imagine they get much of Grandma's uh, wonderful Thanksgiving rolls or whatever, that kind of stuff
Yeah, not too many carbs.
to make that pot belly come out. No, they probably don't drink enough beer either.
Definitely not.
But yeah,
Says
that's
Gina says these creatures not only super strong, but they are super fast. Well, the fast doesn't surprise me. That just makes sense. Something that I mean, yeah, they say, "Oh, it's so big. How can it be so fast?" Because it's pure muscle.
and they can move that fast and be really silent. And it's if you practice it a lot, you can run quietly, or you can thump your feet hard as pound them if you want, or you can run real quietly. So yeah, that's
And you hear 'em- yeah, and you hear it both ways. I didn't hear a damn thing. And fucking thing sounded like a moose coming, or whatever, coming through the trees.
so now after 2018, after Nana saw one, things have been quite different. If I go out by myself, nothing happens. If I go with Nana, half the time, fourth of the time, whatever, something happens, some weird noises, or Nana goes, "There's one right behind that tree. I just saw it." But she's done that, quite a few times, and I've only seen it once when she said that. I was kind of thinking, Nana, you're kind of nuts. I think maybe you are nuts. And then I looked, and there was a Bigfoot, and I went, "Okay, Nana, I'm going to believe you from now on." And I believe, I'm certainly convinced.
Well, up on the rim, when we were up camping up there, Nana was like, she was like the barometer.
Yeah,
Anything around? Anything around?
yeah, yeah.
Oh no, I wouldn't underestimate them if they were chubby. Trust me.
They're probably just as fast and strong. Yeah,
Absolutely.
everybody, humans like to get chubby in the fall.
Yeah, it's because winter's
Cheese,
coming.
cheese freak, it worries me that they're after Nana.
You think they're after her, or
It
just
worries. I don't think it. I just, worry a little bit that they might be. Don't be running off with my Nana.
oh,
But
well, they say some people are I don't want to say marked, but they're
a
more
lot of those,
susceptible.
yeah, a lot of those native guys say that if you look them in the eyes, they will tag you. And Nana was sleeping in the top of the motorhome there at that top front window, and there
Hmm.
was one looking her right in the face from 6 inches away. She looked it right in the eyes. And ever since then, before that, nothing. After that, often, you know. We're going to go back to that one spot where we had a whole weekend with them here in a couple of weeks, and same time of year, same time, same station. We're going to try it again.
Oh, very cool. So you can get
That's
lightning
about
hits
that.
twice.
That's about the extent of my Bigfoot researching. About once every couple of years, right? I don't know. I go to the woods all the time. I pay attention now, but I mean, I was camped up elk hunting in this red hot Bigfoot canyon. I mean, just where I've had a lot of experiences and not a thing all last September, not a thing. But there wasn't any huckleberries in September last year. They ripened up in August and disappeared by September, so I'm going to pay attention to see if there's any activity there when the huckleberries are there or not.
Yeah, it's supposed to. They really like huckleberries and blackberries and Trackway just take my car, take my home, but Swashers don't take the girl.
Don't take the girl.
Little Tim McGraw there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel there.
I don't think I can't talk. I'm not even going to say it. It's like I don't know what their deal is. I mean, they're attracted to her for something. Maybe they did, you know, mark her. Where whatever. How would you call it?
They say they tag you.
Tag. That's it.
Tina, Tina, we do not feed them. We don't even we just barely believe in them. But where I live is in northeast Oregon, next to Hell's Canyon, right next to the western edge of the Rocky Mountains, at the 45th parallel. So about halfway between the equator and the North Pole, on the edge of the Rocky Mountains. So,
So, yeah. To be Huckleberry or not to be Huckleberry?
I know.
That is the question.
Monsieur Huckleberry. Who was that French guy that was always after Monsieur Huckleberry? Was he a Pink Panther spoof or
I'm trying to think of the cartoon. It's not.
Huckleberry Hound?
Yeah.
Really old cartoon. And then there's a little inspector, not Clouseau, but it was some little French inspector that was always after Monsieur Huckleberry.
I think I know
Oh
who you're
well.
talking about. When the inspector used to wear that little like trench coat and sometimes a hat.
Yeah, it was a goofy hat.
With a really short, like, stature of drawing. Yeah. I remember that.
Little fella with a big attitude, yeah. I used to fish for a little guy with a big attitude. We called him Bly. So when I was Richie is tired of being pursued by random women.
Richie says, once you go with Swamp Ape, you never go back. And then, yeah, I think that's what they based a lot of the missing 411 on, Richie. Donald says, Papa C, the parallel is 5 minutes north of me.
5 miles north of you? Cool, Donald.
5 miles. Yeah, miles.
Now, I was looking at that the other day, Donald, and I was wondering where you were related to that parallel. Yeah, that's pretty neat country there and over there in the Northeast, too.
NAC?
It's a whole lot like here. NAC is here.
Hope your wife's feeling better, dude. She's a nice woman.
Maybe I can tell a fishing story that's not really fishy.
Close your ears, Dill.
So, I had fished for a couple of years, a couple of times in Alaska on a troller. We would troll around and catch salmon, but we'd have like 16 hooks in the water for the king salmon, and I think 28 hooks in the water for cohos and such, and just drag them behind the boat and catch fish as fast as you can clean them. But I hadn't been up there in 6 years. I got trapped down at home with a wife and kids for some damn reason. I don't know what the heck happened to me. Shit happens when you party naked, I guess. But I was working at this sawmill, and it just wasn't cutting it. It wasn't paying enough money. It was getting really hard to get any wood logging and stuff, and a couple of years before that, I had quit drinking and drugging. Quit the cocaine, marijuana, and alcohol by going to AA. But before I went to AA, I was just going to shoot myself in the head because there was no way out. I mean, they're going to come arrest me for this cocaine pretty soon, and even if I get thrown in prison, they get drugs in prison, and I'm never getting away from it. I can't. I tried like hell, and I couldn't. So I had one heck of an experience. I heard a voice, I was looking for the bolt to the gun, and because I used to hide it from my wife, and she was gone to treatment.
Oh, okay.
And I talked to her on the phone and said, hey, I can't quit. And she goes, well, I can't come home if you don't quit. Well, when you get home, I'll go to treatment then. That's all I can do. I can't figure this. She goes, I'll just go to AA. That's all they're telling me to do. That's all they're telling me here anyway, is do that stuff. So I looked at the steps, and one of them was, make a prayer. But I heard a voice in my head. Well, I was in a pit of hell, and I heard a voice say, well, instead of going to see if there's a God, why don't you just ask? So I actually did get on my knees and pray, and I've never drank and I didn't even smoke any pot for 31 years until Nana talked me into it.
That's awesome, though, man. I love to hear those successful sobriety stories,
Right, so I was running through life. I would have a little, chat with God every now and then about something, and I was just remember praying, God, this job ain't cutting it. We're going down the tube slowly, right? And can't support my family with this stinking job, and I don't have the balls to go find a new one because jobs were pretty scarce around here back then. And so any help you can give me, that's fine. And then right after Christmas, they laid us all off, shut down the mill, tore it apart, and hauled it away.
Oh, wow.
I was going, thanks, asshole. That isn't what I meant. I think I said that to God a lot. I'm just such a smart ass. I'm probably in big trouble when I die.
But there were other plans, you know?
Yeah. It was funny, though, because, what the heck am I supposed to do now? And there was a knock on my door like the next day, and here was Captain Bly standing at my door. He goes, I have a big boat now, and we go fishing for blackcod and halibut. And he showed me a movie of blackcod coming aboard, one right after the other on that long line, you know. I went, holy cow, that's money. And he says, well, I can't go with you. That'll mess up my unemployment. And we laughed, and I went with him. And so we get up there, and this will crack somebody up. I get up in there, and there's this boat. It's a 58-foot ancient wooden boat. Beautiful, beautiful boat, and the name on it was Argo. And that's Mr. Johnson's name for Bigfoot. He says Bigfoot's name is Argo.
Well, Argo was the name of the ship for Jason and the Argonauts.
Right, so this was named after that.
Yeah.
And it was called the Dancing Argo because it was just as happy on one side as the other. And about, it was just one hell of a flopping thing. So we spent a couple of weeks. We built a shelter deck on it. It had a bait shed built on the back, and then we covered the whole shelter all the way to the wheelhouse in the front. And because I guess Bly was sick of getting waves splashed on him and rained on or something, I don't know what, but off we went. And we went out there in a storm. I saw another big red wooden boat called the Red Baron just bouncing off the waves. You could see the whole bottom of the boat coming off the top of a wave, and I'm going like, God, we must look like that too. And we set the gear out. It's craziness. That kind of fishing is craziness. We had these great big coils of rope, 600 feet long, right? 100 fathoms. 100 fathom shots of rope. It's a coil about 1.5 tall by 1.5 in diameter, or 2 feet in diameter. And every 3 feet on there is a fish hook on a cord spliced into it, with a little leader about yay long, and a little fish hook about that big. And we baited all them thousands and thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of hooks for days on end. Quite possibly the most boring job I've ever heard of in my life. But I did turn out to be a decent masturbator in the end.
Yeah, well, that's...
But on this trip, I got to go be the worst fisherman on the worst boat, worst deckhand on the worst boat under Captain Bly. And away we went. And so we set the gear out, and we started hauling it back, and I'm telling you, this storm came up. It was terrible. I got seasick as hell. I puked until I was doubled over.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And I was washing from scupper to scupper, pretty much. So in the wash on the deck in the fetal position. It hurt so bad. And this Scottish fella flips a quarter on me. He was one of the deckhands. We had a couple of illegal aliens on our boat. They were Scottish. And fantastic people. Anyway, he just flipped a quarter on me and says, call somebody who gives a shit. Get up and get to work. I remember going, Lord, I don't know. Okay,
Oh,
I'm not up.
see, motion sickness like that is so incapacitating.
It is. It is.
Oh, that's just terrible. I don't know how you could work like that.
So anyway, I prayed. I says, okay, Lord, I'm not up here to get rich and famous, obviously, because we were being beat to hell and weren't not catching a thing. And everybody was pretty upset about it, but I says, and if you want to sink this boat and kill us all right now, okay, but I would like to do some more for you, whatever. And I tell you, the weather calmed down, the seasick went away, I was able to get up and work, and fish started coming aboard the boat on every single hook. And I'm going like, well, I will make some money. But yeah, we fished with him, I don't know, I went for 4 months and I made as much in that 4 months as I made all year long at the sawmill. And
Awesome.
so that made us all pretty happy. But that was the first year of my fishing on the worst deckhand, on the worst boat. I got on there because I could cook.
But it's just amazing how one door closed and immediately another door opened.
Isn't that something? Yeah, it's always been like that.
And you prayed for it. See, you cursed him out, thinking it's not what I wanted. But
yeah, I didn't cuss him out that hard. I didn't say that to him.
But you know what I mean.
But that's what I felt like saying.
What's up, Trackway?
All right. Hello? Oh,
You there?
drat.
Trackway, we're not hearing you if you're talking. Well, we'll just let you figure it out.
Richie, I chummed for them fish like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I was actually fishing with clams today. We had some clams the other night, and some of them were cracked. They were open, so Dawn put them aside, and today I took them out and shucked them and basically just fed the fish because, I caught like 2 fish on a dozen clams, They were just stealing them right off the hook. Trackway, you there? All right, dude. I didn't do it. He did. I was about to do it. He'll come back on if he figures it out. Michael Haywood says, Richie, I can see we have different opinions about what fun is. Richie's like, I love to throw up on the high seas. Oh, that's just gnarly. I've seen people literally turn green.
Yeah.
Seasickness.
Yeah.
That's the strangest thing. See someone turn green.
In 1977, I was on a 36-foot trawler, and we had some friends that had just bought a boat, and they were running with us, so we could. They'd have somebody experienced to run around with, and we met them and decided, yeah, we'll do that. As we were going down, it was fairly rough, 10-foot seas, really bouncy. Anyway, their stabilizer pole, their trolling pole, it has a big fish, looks like the tailpiece of a airplane.
Okay, like a hydrofoil.
Yeah, we called them stabilizers, stabies.
Mm-hmm.
And that pulled down and broke the side of their dang El Cheapo boat that they just bought, and they were flooding and sinking. And so called in a mayday for him, and the Coast Guard helicopter came and dropped the pump, and of course the two captains grabbed a hold of the pump, threw the instructions over their shoulder, and proceeded to flood the pump, flood the engine so they couldn't start it. Coast Guard says, don't mess with it, we'll drop you another one. They kept messing with it. They says, go get in that. One of the guys, the other boat was towing a Zodiac skiff, and they came over to us. The one guy came over to us with the skiff. It's tied up to the side. I don't remember how all this went. Anyway, the skiff was tied up to the side. The Coast Guard dumped another pump in the water in a barrel, right? And Bly said, go get that. I go, I've never run an outboard because, well, figure it out, get going. I hopped in there. These guys that were in their panic had broken the gas line where the squeeze bulb thingy is.
Yeah.
So I'm holding that together as tight as I can and squeezing the bulb and got it started. And my first trip on the outboard motor, was in a Zodiac skiff with a 40-horse motor, jumping 10-foot waves. Just, whoa, this puppy really goes. I ran out there and, I know that I had got a guy to help me roll the barrel in, his deckhand. He was sitting up by the mast, green. He really was green.
Yeah.
And I says, you got to get up and help me. He goes, I can't do anything. So I picked him up, threw him in the Zodiac, and we went and
Jack, were you there?
got that. Wonder, I don't know. I've had that trouble before.
Miss Dill says, tag, you're it. And she put the link to the show. Sorry, Jackway, I don't know why we're not able to hear you. Seems everything's mute. See, I just clicked on his microphone and the whole thing went away. So I think he backed out again. Mr. Lee says, Jaws was a fantastic movie. Robert Shaw, excellent.
Yeah, Robert Shaw's great, ain't he?
See, it was funny. That movie confused me on which one was Roy Scheider and which one was, what's his name? Who was the
Robert Shaw.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh, Richard Dreyfuss. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the name I couldn't remember either. Richard Dreyfuss was great too.
Yeah, I remember when that movie came out. I think it was like 77, somewhere around there. And it got to me a little bit, but it didn't keep me out of the water. Like it was scary and everything, but I just, as a kid, I wouldn't stay out of the water.
We used to tell the people in Alaska, you don't want to be able to swim if you're going out on one of these boats. You just as soon drown as freeze to death, I think. It doesn't matter whether you can swim or not. If you haven't got that dang survival suit on, you've got about 5 minutes. You got about 5 minutes of being awake anyway.
Yeah, that just scares me. It's funny because lately, like today, I was helping somebody out on a 32-foot Boston whaler, and a 26-foot some bay boat, and you just I've been giving a lot of thought to maybe trying to get my captain's license. So in order to do that, I got to start getting on the water. So this Boston whaler, the guy who wants to charter it, he's got a captain, and he's going to need a first mate if he's going to do it. So I might talk them into letting me get on the boat. You know.
All right, you can do it, Mugs. I had a 200-ton license. I mean, it's expired now, but what I had to do was make sure, like, you write in the logbook. Always make entries in the logbook. And I can't remember how long now that you've. It took them, years, 3 or 4
Oh yeah,
years
you need
of
like
logbooks.
360 days on the water. So many
Right.
in the last 90 days, and it's and all the testing that you have to do. And but if I'm gonna consider it, I might as well start getting hours in. You know.
Right. I went to classes in Seattle for a winter, took tests, and then it's nice. Then you get paid the big bucks when you get one of them licenses, or from some people.
What I understand is the price of the courses that you take that hasn't really changed in 30 years. So
Oh,
it's been
cool.
like, yeah, that's what these guys are telling. Oh, it was that expensive last, when I did it, everybody keeps telling me that. I'm like, oh, yeah, but that's, $1,000 for a course. I guess it's worth the investment. Graz is like, monks will go out for a 3-hour tour, and well, you know the rest of the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the Mogi on Mutiny. That's too funny.
It is. These guys are so hilarious.
Judy, I did look at the picture, but I wasn't really sure where I was looking at this picture, but I just see a lot of green and a lot of trees. I mean, I do see center of the picture, a little to the left, there's a dark spot. Kind of has, could be. Looks a little like pareidolia. I see a possible face. Judy sends me a picture. It's this, but I gotta find Waldo. It's just it's very cool though. I love like looking for shit. Casey House says it's so windy here that the topsoil blows away. It's normal to have, here, let me bring it up, 30 to 70 mile per hour winds. People are surprised that I don't blow away. They're always telling me. It's where are you from, Casey? I mean, I forget. I think I knew this. It's so windy. People were telling her to put rocks in her pockets or a cinder block. All right, we're gonna try Trackway one more time. What's up, Trackway?
You got me?
Yeah.
He shoots, he scores. How's it going, buddy?
Whoops.
Am I still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I switched my connection. So that should have worked out. I wanted to talk about the Woodknock thing a little bit more.
Awesome.
Because it was 2020, and I like to go off to this place where I hung out as a kid, fishing and stuff, and I'd got some new gear and I was trying it out on this spot. But first, I went up and I took pictures of the area because the stories actually got a little bit more to it. I went up and I took pictures of the conditions of the pond, pictures of how the campground and everything looked. Nobody was there. I had the whole thing to myself. That's the way it is. most of the time, or was before COVID. So I'm trying out this gear, and uh, first I get that first wood knock, bam, and maybe another 20 minutes later, another one, bam, and it's closer. Then I get a third one, bam, and it's really close. And I'm thinking, okay, this isn't cool. And I go get my sidearm, and I charge my sidearm that was down in the truck. I go back up just in case, you know. Don't know what's going on, but this whatever's making these sounds is coming closer. And as I got back up to the pond, um, another vehicle pulled in, and this couple come up and started fishing. And I was like, okay, I'm leaving. It's getting dark. I'm thinking you two are in for an interesting night. So I get home, and I
Only my show. How many times have like people got in the middle of stories and just like boom?
did I
You think it's you?
well, was I still there? My phone went blank for all of a sudden.
No, you weren't. You weren't. Where were we at? Shit.
Don't ask me hard questions.
So, but yeah, about the same time, I get another one of those Babe Ruth style wood knocks
Uh-huh.
captured video like 60 miles away. Well, some years later, right? I guess it'd been last year, 2 years later. I decided to like run a video on why I got interested in this to begin with that situation there, which it doesn't sound as impressive as what it was that day. Just how loud these things were getting and how much they were getting closer. But I take those pictures I took of the campground and of that pond, and I stuck them in the video, and I sent them off to have somebody review it, and they sent it back and said, well, everything seemed pretty good, but if you zoom in these pictures, you got a really great picture here of something with a bulbous nose and all this and that. And I'm like, what? And it was just like, but I did go back and I checked against, make sure that, there wasn't a stump or something there, and double checked it. But still, I still think about that picture and I think about that experience. And I'm like, what if those two things were related or were actually really something, So then I kind of got on this wood knock kick of going out and trying to figure it out. Is there some?
I think we just lost him.
Nope. It's just my phone keeps. I don't know why my phone is kicking out the power. But
Michael Haywood says, tune in next week when Trackway says.
Hey, Michael, just remember the dead squirrel. God, I lost him. Where was that? He sent those pictures back, and I keep thinking back to that situation. I'm like, what if that really was? Because it was an alarming situation at the time. But I've been looking at these wood knocks, going more and more. Other creatures and stuff that make wood knocks, not that match that category, because to me they all sound the same. I've heard a series of them a couple years ago when we was out hunting, going up and down the ravine next to me. The video that I captured in the woods, they all had the same quality, and to me they shouldn't. That doesn't make sense. If something's going through the woods and beating on wood, if you hit a ash, it sounds different than when you hit an oak, than when you hit an elm, or when you hit a maple. And if you're, you're using whatever stick you're using, if you pick up a stick and you're breaking wood, like Papa was saying earlier, because that's how we used to break wood for fire.
Sure.
Um,
Good
doesn't
stuff.
sound nothing like them. But when you hear these wood knocks, they sound the same. And they're in a category of their own. There's a bunch of stuff that makes wood knocks out there. Trust me. I had
I would,
a little one go off right next to me on camera, but that was simply the thermal situation in a tree. But with the wood knocks themselves, they're in a class of their own. Whatever if it's Sasquatch doing it or whatever's doing it, these things are definitely Babe Ruth swinging for the fences
sure.
and driving one over the green monster there at Fenway.
Yes, yesterday I was down at the Marina, and in the yard right next to where I was sitting, there was a red-headed woodpecker, and this thing was huge. But I mean, it didn't make. I guess because of the trees it's feeding on, or the bugs it's feeding on certain trees. It wasn't that loud. I was expecting something a lot louder from the bird, because it was so big,
Mm-hmm.
But I have heard those in the woods, and they can be noisy, but they're too, I don't know, rhythmic. Like they're always it's really quick. So you always figure it's always a woodpecker. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
Well, my eyes with she found the thing with the pine cones. Um, I've got recordings of deer smacking each other. That's how they talk. You ever watch a doe talk to her yearlings? If there's a point she wants to get across or whatever, she'll smack them on the top of the head. And deer fight constantly. And deer, the odd part is I ran video last year, and deer are not bothered by the wood knocks whatsoever. Yeah, it's kind of weird, I thought. As a matter of fact, that video capture I have with the Babe Ruth style wood knock, immediately after a deer walks right through the camera. Not even a full minute. So, but the last one I had, that was close. It was 20, 30 yards at most behind me to my left, and it stopped me dead in my tracks. I was wandering in the woods at night. There's a bit of a story with it, but man, that cracked off, and it was one of those situations like I don't even want to turn and look.
Right.
I'm like, it's just like the whole body just went, gee, nothing's working. I don't want to look at whatever just did that. So that was, yeah, me and October 29th have a long history. So
Ah, it's a day, huh? Yeah. I
yeah,
stay in.
It's odd.
I stay in bed on January 6th. My doctor said I should when he come up to visit me in the hospital a couple of times on January 7th. You shouldn't go out on January 6th.
Yeah. How many times on the 6th did you have a heart
Oh,
attack?
no, it was three times in a row. Once was I fell down the front steps
Oh,
and trashed my back. And the next year, Nana and I rode the pickup, or I rode the pickup with Nana in it. Damn black cow with a white face stepped out on, we're driving on ice, about 45 in the fog, and a white cow with a black face steps out, and it looked like a bunny hopping across the road, right? Until it was right there. And so I slammed on the brakes, we slid sideways, we got around the cow, and then I'm drifting into the other lane and I see headlights through the fog, so the brakes come back on and we're off into the ditch and rolled it
Jeez.
in the snow. So, yeah, we were up in the hospital, and then the year after that was a heart attack.
You got to stop celebrating those anniversaries, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a date like that.
Speaking of heart attacks, for 22 years now, since 2001, I have been living with a thing called angina, right? And every little twinge in my heart for 20 years is like, oh shit. Is if I got 4 minutes to live, and so I've just had to deal with that kind of, whatever. I went to the cardiologist. I went on this ketogenic diet, right? And about a month later, my heart quit hurting. Just stopped. And it hasn't hurt since. It's been 9 months. And I went to the cardiologist, a week or two ago. And she goes, wow, that's awesome. You've lost 60 pounds but your cholesterol's too high. I go, no, it's not. It's normal. She goes, no, we want your LDL cholesterol at 70. And I go, I don't believe in that anymore. All those guidelines were made up by a bunch of vegan ideologues at the top of the chain there. And I could tell that really pissed her off. And then I'm looking at her pasty skin and sunken eyes and real skinny. And I went, oh my God, this lady's a vegan. Whoops.
Wow.
So anyway, but she gave me an electrocardiogram, right, to check out my heart. And the polarity has been wrong on the left ventricle forever, since my first heart attack, and nobody seems to be able to get it straightened out. And I have a normal ECG, I bet that really pissed her off, because I told her, well, we'll see what that ECG looks like, and I'll take another cholesterol test. But it's not the cholesterol, you dummies. It's diabetes. That's what causes heart disease. It's that kind of stuff. It's the sugar. But anyway, of course they're not ever going to believe me. They'll find out in about... I says, that's new research. You're not going to hear about it for another 20 years, but I haven't got 20 years to be messing around. So, boy, am I in trouble with the cardiologist.
Donald, life alert. Or if she's not, I don't know. Yeah, try life alert.
Yeah.
It might cost a little bit, but
yeah, they're not too bad. I looked into that. And yeah, you can either set it off, or if you can set it in such a way if you fall down, don't move for a while, it'll go off for you.
It'll go off. Or there's a panic button on it if you can set it off.
And then one thing I do,
Donald, I hope she's okay.
Yeah.
One thing I do, Donald, is that we also have, with my mother, we have a set time that we call. So, if it hits 2:15 and I haven't called, or she hasn't called me, I call her or go check. Just certain times, and 7 o'clock at night, if that's any help. I know it's it takes a little bit sometimes, but that's how I keep an eye on her.
Ms. Dill, right on. Stack the chairs and toss out the garbage on the way out, you heathens. See in your dreams.
So, with the night closing down and stuff real quick, I also had to throw out a thing for walleye, and I think I've said this before, but I can't help but not say something about fishing.
Oh,
I'm telling you.
I want to hear about walleye.
if you like catching walleye, if you got an area that's got like, it's 10 foot deep and full of weeds and stuff, best way to catch them is it's a weight forward spinning hook. It's called an Erie Deary, right? You just put a little half piece of worm on the back. Get yourself a strong bass rod, like a frog rod. And what you're going to want is like a 7-gear reel, something like that. And you're going to fish it just like you would for bass. You're going to just wing it out there in them weeds deep, let it drop, and then burn it back, stop, burn it back, stop, burn it back, stop. You'll load the walleye in about 30 minutes. You'll have your limit. And that's been a secret that I refuse to tell anybody for years.
And now you just told everybody.
I just told everybody. Well, I just told the people that, I know would use it well.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, there's no walleye in Florida.
Normal, a lot of people get a bad rap around there as not being like a fighting fish.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah, you catch one that's up high in the weeds, when it takes for the basement like they do, I've had them almost break medium heavy rods on me. I don't know how many times. That's why I use a frog rod. Yeah. When they go torpedo in the basement, it's just that's an incredible fight. But yeah, that and the wood knock thing. So.
Wow, that's nice to hear about walleye. I just heard they're so dang delicious. I wanted to go get some and eat them.
There's a lot of walleye actually in some of the mountain lakes, like Lake Mary, outside of Flagstaff, but they don't recommend you eat them here or there because of the high mercury levels and shit in the water.
We have that trouble a little bit. I think the Salmon River up in Idaho, I think that's the one, runs right through a great big mercury deposit. And so that puts mercury on the bottom of every river downstream, which would be the lower Snake and the lower Columbia.
Now, was this mercury introduced by the miners?
No. The mercury is in a rock called cinnabar. And the river itself over the millennia has carved that.
Because during the gold rush, a lot of people used the mercury to clean the gold out of the rocks and shit because the mercury would stick to the gold. Right. And they ended up with mercury poisoning and going insane.
Yeah, they did. It was, dumbasses. And
so
they're still doing
that. That's how the mercury was introduced in mass quantities in these waters.
I think they're still doing that down in Malaysia too. Didn't know what's his name from Gold Rush. I keep wanting to call him Tucker, but Parker Schnabel.
Yeah, where is he?
He went down to Malaysia. He's in that TV show Gold Rush.
Yeah, no. Malaysia, as in I think he's down Central or South America, right?
Well, he went there too, but he went down to
Malaysia, like
somewhere down by there anyway. Yeah, they have this giant gold mine down there. The big company scarfed it all up and fenced it off, and don't let the big billionaires are hogging up the money, and the little guys get jack. But the little guys are mining a little bit, and they are poisoning themselves too. And he was showing them how to do it and recover the mercury and not lose it. And so he might have saved a bunch of them by showing them a different way to do the mercury. Because he wasn't ever going to stop him from doing the mercury.
Okay, guys, I'm going to call it a night, and I want to thank you for letting me be on, and you guys have a good time.
Well, thanks for popping on, man. Thanks for, we look forward to new people coming on, and I know you've been here before, but you just, visit more often. But yeah, man. Have a good night, Trackway. Thank you. Wow,
Yeah.
we're at 2 hours already? Holy shit.
Oh, it's time for Papa's pill. That's the other nice thing about this diet. I just don't need them anymore. I just don't need stuff. So I'm down. I've got only 3 kinds of pills I take now. Yeah, and you saw how I had, 2.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Carrying a pharmacy around with you.
oh man, I looked at that. It was about that when I showed you guys. I went, "This is stupid. I can't. They're just gonna load me up. I'll be eating nothing but pills for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Won't be able to get any food in."
That's right. Miss Dill says, Mogs, give Stevie B a fishing pole and she will feed the world.
There you go.
I did give her a fishing pole and she keeps fucking letting them go. But she's catching.
Nana and I are gonna go catch some trout in the morning.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it should be fun. It's supposed to be a beautiful day. Like, we've had such a long, cold, lonely winter. It just barely ended a couple weeks ago. And
Really?
so we got about 4 days of 80, 70, 80.
I don't miss that. Cold
And then
winter.
and then it went right back to raining, and then it was supposed to be nice this afternoon, and it rained. But tomorrow, probably from now on, we'll probably go back into the drought.
Well,
But
enjoy
anyway,
your time fishing tomorrow. Good luck. Tight lines.
thank you. We will.
I'm gonna I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Oh yeah, I gotta go help somebody take down a tree or cut up a tree.
Donald, I have Ozempic face. This is what happens to your face when you lose a lot of weight really quick. But what I don't have is that flappy, loose, hangy skin everywhere.
Yeah.
That's a thing called autophagy. If you do a little fasting in the middle of your diet, don't eat for 3 days, all that stuff gets gobbled up. Your body just eats it.
Your body consumes it.
Yeah.
Hey Kelly,
Okay.
thank you. All right, Papa, I'm gonna bounce off this thing and.
Okay, we'll see ya. You guys
Great
take
talking
it
to you.
easy.
Thank you so much for sharing all those stories. That was great. I appreciate it. I know
You
everybody
bet.
else does too. So, all right, man. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, guys, that's another one in the books. Shit, I forgot what we're at. I'm gonna have to count again. Trying to figure out which day is the 300th show. So it's either in 2 weeks or the end of next week. I don't know. But we'll figure it out. But listen, hey, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Everybody in chat, everybody that wasn't in chat that's watching, keep coming back, and think of things that you want to come on and talk about. So many people I want to meet out there. I'm not sure if it's 297, Stevie. I'm thinking it's along those lines. It's close. If you enjoyed tonight's show, please hit that like button. If you're new and you've not subscribed, subscribe. Also, leave comments. I forgot to say that the other day. Stevie threw it in chat. So, yeah, no, I love getting comments from you guys. Tacey, you're welcome. Michael, everybody, thank you. All right. Thank you, Pop Craig. Thank you, Trackway. I will be back here on Thursday. So if anybody wants to come hang out then, you know where to find me. All right, guys. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Peace and God bless.